Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Season 8 of ZADs Galaxy League, brought to you by Zealous Racing League. My name is Shim, and I'm going to be your host for tonight, like all the other nights of Season 8. And here we have Round 5 at Kyalami. This is going to be an incredibly unique race tonight, folks, because it's 75 minutes long, no pit stop requirements, and we're just going to have to see how it goes. This is a format that you probably won't ever see in real life, and it's a format that we're not likely to really do again at ZRL in the near future either. So this is really going to be some unique racing tonight. There's going to be tons of different strategies from all of our drivers, and we'll run through that here before the race starts in just a moment. But I want to thank you all for joining us tonight. Feel free to share this link with everyone that you know, anyone who might be interested in racing. Be sure to share it with them and get some more folks in here watching the race tonight, because really, truly, tonight is going to be one of a kind. I'm so excited to bring you this coverage. So, yeah, feel free to join on in and get everyone else to join on in as well. I want to give a quick shout out to all of our admins. Thank them for getting this set up today. And if you're interested in joining ZRL and getting involved with us in the future, and maybe joining in for a 75-minute race at Kyalami in the future, feel free to like and follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Links are on our homepage of the YouTube channel. And we also have a link to our Discord on the homepage. And that's where you can go to get in contact with us, and we can help answer any questions you might have. And on the Discord is where you'll get the most up-to-date information on the leagues that we run at Zealous. So while I get everything set here, we're going to go in. We got 5 minutes left of our free practice before 15 minutes of qualifying. Standard ZRL format there. We usually give our drivers about 30 minutes in the server before everything goes live to run some practice laps and to get a feel for the circuit and the conditions that we're going to be seeing tonight on track. Now, Season 8 is one of our shorter seasons, but at ZRL we usually always have a two-race weather mercy rule limit, so we can only see rain or inclement weather twice in a season. If you've been if you've been following us so far, you'll know that we have not seen any rain in any of our sessions this season, in Season 8. So we're still in to see some rain possibly today. I've raced at Kyalami in the rain before. It's very interesting conditions to be racing in. But that is completely possible today for our drivers to experience. We also, since this is a 75-minute race, we have no mandatory pit stop, but I can see us having quite a few different strategies today out on track from our drivers. I was chatting with some of our drivers, and one of them being Kenneth Portis, KP, that I just went off of. KP was saying we could see some very interesting strats, brought up some ideas that I wasn't even thinking of ahead of time. You know, for a 75-minute race, standard may be seeing some one-stops right in the middle. If anyone gets damaged, they probably will stop right away. Could see some people doing a splash and dash, sort of pit stop, maybe not try to change their tires out. But there could be the possibility that nobody takes a pit stop today, or that one person takes no pit stops today, which is incredibly interesting because I believe these cars won't last, or they're barely going to be able to last 75 minutes, racing on like full race fuel for these cars. I'm not entirely sure if these cars will be able to make it. They might be close, cutting it real close, but I don't really know going into it how our drivers are going to react to those situations. I could see some folks going into some fuel saving early on in the race, or maybe later in the mid parts of the race, to then make sure that they don't have to take that stop, possibly doing some tire saving in the process, and try to go the whole race without pit stops. It's totally doable. It's totally doable today. So we'll see what our drivers decide to do. Just taking a look at a few of our drivers. Like I said, Kenneth Portis, KP, one of our ZRL admins. Been racing for quite a long time, as I can tell, and absolutely rapid a racer at that. In that Honda NSX he's always in. Last week got second place at the Daytona road course. Usually, KP has been performing in the top positions of our league, getting first place in most of our races. Definitely has the most first places, for most wins of anyone this season so far. But that being said, his main competitor, Shinkai Zhang, who's currently just chilling in the pits before we have our qualifying session, he got an absolutely commanding win last week at the road course. Was, I want to say, almost 30, 40 seconds up on Portis, who was in second place by the end of the race. Was absolutely rapid. And given some of the times I've been seeing him set here in practice, it could be a repeat of last week. Now, that does depend on what strategies we're going to see. But everything is up in the air. Everything is free game this week. Like I said, this is a race you'll probably never see in real life, but since we're not racing in real life, even though these are very real cars, we're trying it out. 75 minutes. One thing to note too is that Kyalami is usually our crown jewel race of the season. So drivers, I believe, will be getting double points for their efforts tonight, just because this race is much longer than any of our others, being 75 minutes versus 60 to 40 minute races is what we normally run here at ZRL. As our last driver comes in here from practice, we'll move into our qualifying session. Like I said, 15 minutes. And thank you for joining us in the chat. I see a few folks joining us now. And if you are in chat, be sure to give a shout out to the driver you want to perform well. Shout out to the driver that you want to win tonight. Post it right there in the chat. I'll be able to see it. And if you have any questions, you can always feel free to answer or ask me those as well. Had some questions last week from some folks that had never seen ACC before. So always willing to answer any questions that anyone might have. And here we go, qualifying time. As we go in, who's going to get out first? Is it going to be Portis? And it will be. So if you are new to Zealous Racing League, new to my streams at least, I always like to do the first lap, the first flying lap with the person who gets out of qualifying first. So who's ever out of qualifying first, I'll follow them on the first lap of qualifying and give you a look at the track and give you a feel for how the track looks and all the different turns and bumps and different things in the road that their drivers will have to look out for today. Now, I say that, but take this all with a grain of salt. I'm no professional driver myself, but I've been able to watch these guys quite a bit this season and been watching racing most of my life. Not that that qualifies me in any regard to be an expert, but I've been able to race on some of these tracks and just like to give you a little bit of a sneak peek and a glimpse on what to expect. So we'll watch the full cockpit view of our racer KP today in that NSX. As he comes around Cheetah here. And as he begins his first flying lap of the night. As he comes down the straight, passes the start-finish line right now, going a little bit further than into the kink. Barely a turn, but technically the first one. Brakes at the 100, into first gear, around the hairpin. Tries to tuck the car a little bit into the middle there, hugging. Going as wide as possible, swinging out there, braking, and all of the runoff that you can there. Got to utilize all the track here at Kyalami. That's how you get all the time. A little bit of a lift. Going into the wide sweeping right-hander there in fourth gear, braking at the curbing. Into second gear again, using all of the track that he can. So he's on the power as early as possible. Stays in third gear. Just want to be off the brake, maybe a little off the gas, a little brake. Want to be able to accelerate all the way up the hill into the spoon. Braking just before the curbing. Want to get all the way around on the gas as early as possible. Going as wide as possible. Down the hill, down to mine shaft. Sweeping left-hander flat out. As we go into Crocodile, setting up in the middle of the circuit here for this right-hander. Pretty much a hairpin right-hander, but you can, since it's such a wide turn, right-hander on Cheetah, since it's such a wide turn, you can utilize a lot of the middle of the track to get yourself rotated into the last turn there, using all of the curbing as possible. And that is a lap at Kyalami, 41.4. That is absolutely rapid considering qualifying times. So good on Portis for a great first lap. Pitch right behind him with the next one. Drivers coming in now with their first flying laps. A couple drivers looks like they invalidated their first lap. Next driver, Matthew Reed, Shanghai Zhang goes one faster. Only a tenth of a second faster than than Portis. Going to be a close race between those two. Tada coming in behind, third place. Tada's been a very consistent racer with us this season. New to the ZRL racing community. Two drivers, Flores and Wolf, looks like they invalidated their last laps. Peño setting his lap in that Mercedes. Kevin Yu goes one faster in that McLaren. New driver this week, one of our ZRL admins, bringing it back, Sean Collis. In the Ferrari 448 in the ZRL logo there. An invert of our other ZRL admin, which is Wolf. As you can see, they're kind of inverting their colors there. Blue and neon green, yellowish. Whereas Collis is going more neon green than blue. As Wolf crosses the finish line here, is he going to set a lap? Doesn't seem to be able to. Invalidates that one as well. Afonso Portis with the fastest lap, going 3/10 almost faster than Zhang. Let's see if Zhang can respond as he goes through Cheetah. On the last turn. On the gas as early as he possibly can. Using all that runoff into the gravel. Is that going to be valid? As he crosses the start-finish, not going to do it. A whole second slower than his fastest lap. Must have caught up to some traffic there. Jeremy Story, one of our drivers, setting some fast laps out there. A lot of close battles between our midfield in this these later top 10 positions. Between Story, Tada, Burr, Fender, Reed's in there. We've got Chris Rise in there in the Audi. All of these drivers have been racing incredibly close to each other in all of our other races this season. So I would imagine that these guys are going to be pretty close today as well. We do have a driver in the runoff there. I think it was the number 30 car, maybe? Let's see who it might have been. Maybe Santello. Santello looks like he messed up there. A little bit of a shunt. Probably hit the curbing at Cheetah. One driver that I was incredibly impressed with, and I mean this in the truest sense. Usually I give Slim a hard time because he's a good friend of mine, but Justin Friesen, Slim Friesen, has been racing putting in some excellent laps here at Kyalami. And I almost forgot that this is one of his best tracks, but he is right up there with some of the best drivers in this server today. I could imagine him getting possibly a podium position if the cards play out right for him. Because, you know, in that Ferrari, I've seen him do faster what he's doing right now in qualifying. So if he can pull everything together, I think he's going to do quite well. Another driver to watch too is Pitch in the Nissan. is doing incredibly well as well. I wouldn't have expected the Nissan to be good at any track, but it seems to be doing all right here tonight. Or maybe this is just a really good track for Pitch. I'm not sure. I'm no expert when it comes to the balance of power between these cars. Gonna have to ask Portis about this after the race, but doing some excellent laps there in that Nissan. One of my favorite looking cars, even though it doesn't perform very well on most circuits. So looking at our pole sitter right now, Portis, he currently is number 1, still 3/10 up. Looking at some of our drivers, gonna go down the list and just give you a brief rundown of who we got. KP, our current leader of the championship, with Shenkai Zhang, his arch rival, I should say, or main rival, maybe not arch rival, but main rival this season, in the Ferrari. Right next to him, got Matthew Reed, our sole Lamborghini driver, always in the Lamborghini. Melon Pitch, longtime racer with ZRL. Got Justin Friesen from Knucklehead Racing. Always loving that Ferrari as he goes into the S's. Tutta in the Audi. Matt Fender, another Audi driver. And as I say that, Tutta just set a faster lap than Friesen there. JJ Burr, one of our BMW M4 drivers, or actually, yep, that is an M4. For a second there, I almost thought that was an M6, and I was really surprised because don't think he's been racing the M6 this season, but just my mistake. That is the M4. Andre Afonso in the Porsche. Jeremy Story, one of our mini McLaren drivers. Fabiano Candido in the Bentley, our sole Bentley driver. Calvin Wolf, one of our ZRL admins and in the McLaren. Another McLaren, Kevin Yu. Sean Collis, our newcomer, ZRL admin in that Ferrari. Todd Cromer in the Porsche, doing very well this season. Got Chris Rise, another Audi driver. Christopher Flores in the McLaren. Anthony Camacho, who is a BMW driver. Glenn Peno, or Pinio. Sorry, I've been butchering these drivers' names all season. One of the drivers I'm notorious for butchering their name for is JP Belanger, or Bellinger as I called him for the whole first part of this season, until he was able to correct me. Glenn corrected me this last week as well. It's Pinio, not Pino. Pinio. Glenn Pinio, our only Mercedes driver for the night. We do have Pedro A, another Mercedes driver, isn't here tonight, couldn't make it. Jimmy Olsen in the Audi. Ricardo Scapanello in the Porsche. Santello, one of our Ferrari drivers. And last but not least, Ricky Scott in the McLaren. Looking at our times, Portis is pretty pretty much got this in the bag as of right now, but Zhang is setting faster laps, having gone a bit faster on the last one. Now only a 10th behind our pole sitter Portis. Now, Zhang is kind of an unknown factor in our ZRL season this year. To my knowledge, I've never seen Zhang race with ZRL in the past. Some other drivers think they may have seen him in some earlier seasons, but I think Zhang truly is a newcomer, but really has taken the league by storm this season and is performing excellently. I don't think any of us expected him to be as fast as he is, and I think a lot of it has to do with these later tracks definitely being more suited to his car. And especially last week, he said that he had raced Indy Road Course for I want to say a 6-hour endurance race not too long before. So after putting in many and many laps at the road course, said it was pretty easy for him to be consistent for a 60-minute race there last week. And that really did show based on the almost 40-second lead on second place that he got at the end of the night. Our drivers are getting a lot closer here in terms of their qualifying pace. Watching Friesen as he goes along the spoon on top of the hill, going down towards the mine shaft. Sweeping left-hander all the way flat out. Coming along Crocodile. That's where we're going to see a lot of action tonight, is that turn at Crocodile. Into Cheetah. Driver's all over the place. That's probably going to invalidate his laps, sadly. That is not what you want to see there. Probably didn't have enough fuel to go another. Gonna have to settle for what he's got after Story and a few other drivers collided there, it looked like. Portis looks like he has not been going as fast, but I wonder if he's maybe trying some fuel-saving techniques. Wonder if he's one of the drivers that's going to try to go for a no-stopper today. Zhang, the last lap he set was only an 1/8 of a 10,000th from Portis. Now only half a tenth back. That is absolutely tragic. That last lap was so incredibly fast between these two drivers. Portis finally dipping in the 40s, 40.9. Zhang's got to get a 40 to be able to get pole, and he's only got one lap. Oh, and he biffs it. Going into the S's, he loses the car, and he's got to end it right there. That's going to mean Portis is locking down pole position, because I don't believe Fender's going to be able to do a lap faster as he crosses the line. He's going to be our last driver, maybe actually the 48 of Candido. He actually might be our last driver. Looks like not, though. The 95 driver of Kevin Yu is going to be our last driver on the track. Looks like Fender truly will be the last driver to set a lap if he can keep it all clean. Only him and Kevin Yu on the track currently. It's late in the night here for our qualifying session, though. Going into the S's, got to keep it clean. Gain as much speed on the gas as early as possible to get up the hill. Braking into the spoon. I know there's another name for that turn, and that's not the spoon, but it looks so similar to the spoon at Suzuka. I'm just going to call it the spoon. Into Cheetah he goes, or I should say Crocodile he goes. Now going towards Cheetah. Off the gas, trying to take it as fast as possible, using the runoff. And he's just going into the pits? Interesting strategy. Wasn't expecting that, to be honest, but all right. Kevin Yu, our last driver to cross the finish line, using all of the curbing he can, seeing if he can go one faster, and he cannot. All right, that is the end of our qualifying session today. Now to the hour 15-minute race. They've got 2 minutes to get everything set, as do I have 2 minutes to get everything set. Going to Portis. I'm going to watch the helicam of the start of this race just so we can see as much action as possible. While I have the time, I want to give a big thank you to all of you watching. Be sure to share the stream with any of your friends and family that might be interested in automobile racing or sim racing themselves. And if you're interested in joining our community, if you haven't joined already, be sure to like and follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Links are on the homepage of our Facebook page, or of our YouTube page, I should say. Sorry. Another link on the homepage of the YouTube channel is a link to our Discord. That's going to be the best place to go if you're interested in joining ZRL in the future for any further seasons that we may have. You know, we're over halfway through season 8 here. We're in round 5 of 7, but we will be starting up season 9 pretty shortly after season 8. So there's plenty of opportunities to join a league if that's something that you're interested in. And even if you're not interested in joining a league and just are new to sim racing, maybe even a veteran to sim racing, be sure to join our Discord. We've got people there to help with any of your setup needs that you might have, as well as just a living, breathing community of racing advocates and aficionados. We're all there to have a good time, share our love for motorsport, and we're that community for you if that's what you're looking for. So be sure to check us out, and be sure to give us a like and a follow. 5 seconds left to the session start. Drivers are going to have to turn on their lights. It is 4 a.m. here at Kyalami. Let's see if the sun's going to be peeking out partway through this race. Not sure if it's going to or not. As they go along Cheetah there. It's going to be a quick start to this race as we see the grid pile in behind. Portis, our pole sitter, is going to be setting the pace here as they go along the final turn here. Zhang getting as wide as he possibly can, getting as close as he possibly can. They're playing the game. They're playing the game. Who's going to get off first? Who's going to have the better start? As we are green. Here we are, 75 minutes at Kyalami. Zhang on the outside, but Portis looks to have gotten a slightly better start as Portis sets up in the middle of the track. As we go into the first hairpin fender around, little tap. He was recorrected by another driver. Friesen moves into 5th place there from 7th where he started as we go along. Left-hander down another straight here into the sweeping right. Portis on the inside. Zhang taking the out. Portis looks like he's got it here though. Close racing between these two. Got to stay one by one here as they break into the curbing. Awfully close here as we head towards the S's. Gonna have to keep it single file, only one solid line through here as they take it in 3rd gear. Zhang closing in a little bit, but gotta back off. There's no other way for him to go, using all the curbing they can. As we go into the spoon, braking as late as they can. 1st gear, on the gas as early as possible. Portis down the hill, gets a great turn out there. A lot of power. Definitely got the better run as they go down the hill. Cars sparking as they hit the, as their cars hit the ground into Crocodiles. A lot of action going to happen there today. Into Cheetah. Taking it fast. Zhang close behind. Other drivers trying to stick with. Portis, Zhang, Reed, Tutta, Friesen. Current order, top 5. Zhang goes very wide into the last turn. First lap is completed with Portis maintaining the lead. Zhang holding on close behind. It's going to be close between these two. Braking at the 100. Watching Zhang here. See the bonnet cam of him as he races with Portis here. Tries to go a little bit wide to get a better run down the straight here. Portis just eking out a little bit of extra speed there as they try to keep as much speed as possible into that fast right-hand turn. Braking as late as possible. Zhang getting awfully close. Portis feeling the pressure. Trying to stay in third gear, I would say here is going to be the place to stay. Gas once you hit that inside, that outside curbing. Zhang trying to go a little bit wider, get on the gas a little earlier. Don't think that's going to pay off for him. Can't get the car rotated soon enough to be able to get on the gas and get going straight. It's got to still maintain pretty wide berth going there. Opting for the wide line into Crocodile. Crocodile is one of the most interesting turns in my opinion. Just so much space and room to work with. So many lines that you can take through that turn. Zhang getting awfully close to Portis there. And I think that's really gonna work in Portis's favor there. We got some of our other drivers. Reed getting close too. Reed with the fastest lap as well. Reed is able to stick with. A little bit of an incident it looks like there for Reed. Close racing between these first three drivers. This is exciting for the start of the race. As Zhang hopes to catch up to Portis there. Not able to gain on Portis in the straights. Much better that Honda NSX when it comes to straight line speed. And Reed doing an excellent job of sticking with. Other drivers battling it out. Friesen, Tutta. Collis, ooh, a little bit of off track there from Collis. Got a bit squirmy. Ooh, another incident there between Nunez and some of our other drivers. Nunez and Peno. Santello behind, a lot of damage on that Ferrari. Flores was caught up in that as well. Scott seems to have been caught up in it. Go back to our leaders. As they go on to the last turn here, I think Reed was able to stick with these drivers quite well. Zhang able to stick with much better this lap too. Fastest lap still from Reed. Drivers in the 42s right now. As they go around the hairpin and up the hill. A lot of unique corners here at Kyalami. One of them being the one they just went through, that left-hander as they go up the hill. Got to position the car somewhere in the middle of the track and try to brake towards the outside so they can get as much of an angle as they can. That angle then helps them power through the apex and get speed on that next straight. As they go into the S's. Tutta and Friesen dropping off about 2 seconds from this pack here in the lead. Friesen staying close behind though, only 3/10 back. Collis and Wolf, two ZRL admins, battling it out right now. Looks like that previous incident that I saw Collis go off with must have been an incident. Oh, getting close between. Great pass up the inside from Collis. Wolf hoping to answer. I don't think he's going to be able to do it though. Fender was in that as well. Good overtake between the two admins. Can Wolf go on the outside of Crocodile here and maybe get him? It doesn't look likely. Tada getting awfully close. Oh, and Friesen looking to make the move going down the main straight. Friesen on the inside there. Trying to just stick with Tada now. Not many other lines for him to go. Powering through, using as much as possible. A little bit squirrely there. Maybe got a little overeager. As we see our leaders in front there. Burr sticking with this group as well. On the inside, Friesen tries to make the move. Not close enough though. Burr getting very close to Friesen though. Feeling that pressure's got to watch out. If they're not careful, they're going to get double overtaken by Burr there. So Burr tries to go on the inside going into the S's. Don't think that's going to work out. One driver has to give, and it will be Burr. This is giving Tada the opportunity to really pull away from these two, the battle between Friesen and Burr. Now gaining about a whole second or so ahead. Reed is now only dropping off 7/10 back. Pitch is looking in on Cromer here. Cromer gaining some positions on the start. Rise as well gaining positions as well as you. A lot of drivers having a really good start to the race. Candido. Let's go back to our leaders here. Battle between Portish and Zhang. A lot of action already in this race, and we're still only 10 minutes in. Got a lot of race left to go. As we get into the middle of this race too, I probably will have to take a quick break because I gotta say, I love doing this. This is an amazing opportunity, but I don't know if I can make my voice go a whole hour and 15 minutes non-stop talking. That's going to destroy my voice. So I'll probably take a quick break in the middle of this race. That should be fine though. I think you guys will be okay if I just put it on the leader. I'll let you watch the leader. It'll be great. You can see all the action up here in the front. You won't miss a thing. But I'm human too. I gotta drink water. They go up into the spoon. Zhang getting awfully close there. Really holding on to the bumper of Portis as they go down the hill. Kyalami also a unique track because I always think of Kyalami as a more technical downforce oriented track. And I think it is for the most part, but there are a lot of long straights at Kyalami, longer than I think we give it credit for, with all the unique turns that it does have. And so it always surprises me when I watch a race at Kyalami. I'm always surprised by how much the drivers are going, not flat out, but how much time they have going down straights on this track. Got a stop-go penalty for you. I wonder if you got into a bit of an incident there, maybe tried to make an early pit stop and sped into the pits. Not good. Not good indeed. Like I said, a lot of different strategies. Could see Pinio. Gosh dang it. Always going to get those names wrong. But Pinio and looks like possibly Calvin, Wolf, and Nunez opting to go for an early splash and dash. Maybe repair some damage that they got early into the race. Maybe give them some clean air and then try to run some fast laps on their own so that for later in the race, they're better off. You could definitely see that happening with a lot of drivers, especially those that get into these incidences early in the race. I know, who was it? The driver that got into a bit of an incident early in the race, Santello. He's already back out on track, and he is still on the lead lap. So I think that really goes to show just how much just how much time there is going to be in this race and all the different strategies that we're going to have. And like I said, guys, I got this chat open, so if you guys have any theories or have anything you want to chat about, any questions, feel free to let me know. I'm always here to provide questions for you as well as give commentary for this excellent race that we're seeing ahead of us. Looking back at some of the other battles, we have Rise closing in on Alfonso, who's closing in on Candido. Rise has been performing well, another newcomer to ZRL. Solid mid-pack runner in the top 10, which is great to see. Camacho and Flores have another battle going on here. Definitely one of the closer ones we have. As they go down the main straight. Flores trying to find a gap. Camacho not giving it. Flores goes on the inside. Tries to break later. Not going to work, though. Camacho just holding his line. Flores, a lot more speed going to be going into this turn. Not going to be able to make a move, though. Maybe trying to bait Camacho into making a mistake. Not going to happen. Welcome to the chat, Anthony. Thank you for joining us. Flores on the inside, looking to make the move. Think this might actually work out well for Flores as he gets a better line going into the next turn, and he will. Breaks a little later. Goes a bit wider, but he's able to hold him off. Camacho off the track there. A little bit of a spark from the car as he goes on the re-entry. Great move from Flores there. Moves Flores from 16th to 15th. Bit of a battle between Pitch and Cromer here. Pitch has probably got my favorite livery of the race so far. Going on the inside, trying to make the move. I don't think that's going to work out, though. Cromer's got such a better run going down the main straight. Pitch just trying to make him uneasy, maybe. But Pitch has got a great livery for that Nissan. Got the Rugrats dinosaur on the back. Shake and bake. As he goes into the first straight after the main one. Pitch not able to make the move yet. Fender behind them after an early incident in the race. Still sticking with. A lot of these drivers, I can see some damage on their car. Might want to pit for that now when they have the chance. Another battle to watch here. Alfonso has been able to shake Chris Rise for the time being, hoping to gain on Candido. Zhang now with the fastest lap of 42.12. But that being said, Portis' fastest lap is a 42.16. So awfully close between the two drivers at the lead here. Been able to shake Reed only slightly. Reed a second back, sticking with quite well. As they come down the start-finish straight. Portis leading the whole race so far. As they come down the main straight, really showing that gap between the two drivers. A lot more gap than it might seem on a lot of the braking zones. Braking at about the 100 just after. It really opens up once, or closes in, I mean, once we get to the hairpins and the turns. Portis looks to be using the track to a little bit better of an extent than Zhang. Zhang's using more of the track, but I think Portis is being a bit more refined in his movements, able to be more on track, less of the curb when he's making those moves. Zhang getting awfully close in these braking zones, though. But as you see, that Nissan, or I should say that Honda, sorry, just got so much speed. So much speed out of the turns. And it's interesting, too, when you consider that these are both mid-engine cars. You tend to see that the front-engine cars will behave much differently, which is true. The mid-engine and front-engine cars do behave much differently from each other. But the Honda and the Ferrari very both very similar because they're mid-engine cars, but couldn't act more differently on track. And I think a lot of that has to do with the aero packages on those cars. I think the Ferrari maybe has a bit more advanced aero package. But that being said, the Honda still has so much more speed going into these straights, which is why the Honda does so well at tracks like Bathurst and Spa, which, as we saw uh, when we had those races in this league, Portis just dominated those races. Zhang trying to provide pressure there, trying to make Portis make a mistake, which is a difficult task to undertake. Getting awfully close to these two drivers. Down the hill, braking. Has to be a little bit defensive there, Portis, against Zhang. Zhang's probably making Portis eat up a lot of his tires here too. Given Portis, I bet he's not going to, he's going to try to not have a pit stop this race. And I wonder if eventually he's going to start going into fuel saving mode. Let Zhang pass. Maybe let Zhang burn up his fuel. And allow Portis to just get time on the pit stop. Looking at some of the other drivers we've got, Wolf dropping back quite a bit, maybe had a bit of an incident. Pitch not able to make any moves, looks to have lost a position to Fender. Looks like Story maybe dropped back a few positions as well. Collis maintaining 14th. Reed set the fastest lap with a 42.105. Close racing between these drivers. I am incredibly impressed with Reed's ability to stick with these drivers, and I know it's probably been made easier by the fact that you know, Portis and Zhang are fighting so much. But even that being said, Reed is putting in the fastest laps of the race. You know, these drivers, even though they're battling with each other, should still be able to, you know, put together some fast laps. This is just allowing Reed to stick with the, you know, the best he can and really put in some great laps. And it allows him to keep with these drivers as well. He doesn't have to pass them. He just has to stick with. Zhang goes very deep, trying to get more speed going down the hill. Looks to have allowed him to stick with a little bit better, but Portis still got the speed. Reed closing in, following Zhang on the wide line. Portis opting for the middle of the track. Into Cheetah they go. Tough turn for a lot of racers. Can't hit that curb. Got a huge sausage curb on the inside of that turn. And if you hit that, well, you're pretty much in the shadow realm. "54 minutes left in this race. Our drivers have already completed 11 laps. And as I look back, further back in the pack, looks like JJ Burr is looking to make a move on Chris Rise here. Getting awfully close to that Audi in front of him with Afonso. Looks to have lost some of the gap he had on Candido. Candido racing excellently in that Bentley today. I think this might be his best performance so far. Oh, Burr looking to make the move on Rise. Not going to make it work though. Rise covers the middle. As they move towards the S's, not going to be able to make a move here. Any move would be quite dirty. Rise trying to hug. Getting as much speed as possible as they go up the hill. Burr's got a better run, though. Rise has got to be defensive going into the spoon. And looks like Rise is going to just squeak out ahead as they go down the hill towards the mine shaft. Looking ahead at our leaders, still the same status quo it's been. Our two drivers we're watching right now, Rise and Burr. Looks like Alfonso off the track, though. That's going to promote all the drivers behind, unless Alfonso can get up ahead. That gives Rise and Burr a free position there. Don't have to battle for that 7th place position, because it's just given. Rise 7, Burr 8th. Alfonso looking to hold that 9th position, though. And now has to contend against Fender, who had a early race fender bender and is now running P10. That was a poor joke, but I'm glad I made it. Looking at our drivers up front here, Portis really getting pressured by Zhang here. The whole race, too, it's been this way. Like I mentioned, tough nut to crack, Portis is. Not going to be easy to pass him, even when he's doing fuel saving. Looks like Sean Collis has had a bit of an incident as well. Collis down in P19, back close to Wolf. As our leaders here go through Cheetah. Final turn. So we come down the main straight here. Portis still able to stay ahead. I'm still surprised some of the drivers haven't been able to make more of an impact, one of them being Nunez, back in 17th place. I know Nunez is one of our faster drivers, racing near the front. So I wonder if he has some damage on him. Todd Cromer, Cromier, want to make sure I get his name right, into the pits. And I mean, we are about 25 minutes in, so, you know, this would be a good time to pit. You know, good a time to pit as any. JJ Burr, looking back, has been able to make the move on Chris Rise to get P7. Other drivers behind have been spreading out quite a bit on the field. As we get into the really middle portion of this race, most of our action is right here at the front as they go around Crocodile and Cheetah. Like I said, a lot of the battling has been right here with our leaders, which is, I mean, as good a place as any to have good battles. You love to see battles for the lead, for those podium positions, for all the glory and all the points. Zhang opting for much wider lines than Portis. And I don't know if that's working out for him. Portis definitely has been able to gain time every time Zhang goes wide into those turns. Looks like he's able to shake Zhang only slightly. Down the hill we go. We're 48 minutes left in the race, 48 minutes, 30 seconds left in the race. Let me know how you guys are liking this race so far, though. This is a quite unique format that we have going on. And I don't know if there's going to be any rhyme or reason with our drivers as to what the prime strategy is going to be. I mean, watching these leaders, I have no idea what they're going to do yet. Maybe Zhang is doing power saving or some fuel saving right now. Honestly, your guess is as good as mine, so we really don't know what's going to happen here. This is really an untested format. As we complete the 15th lap, going into lap 16. We have our drivers crossing the start-finish, going into the first turn. Technically second turn, I should say, because the kink technically is the first turn. These drivers are going to be running into back markers shortly. The 31 of Wolf is the next car on track for Portis, and he is only just ahead. Probably can see him up ahead. Looks like Portis and Zhang have been able to shake Reed just slightly. Reed now almost 2 seconds back, it looks like. Even though it shows like much more, I think he's really only about 2 seconds back on these drivers. So Portis and Zhang go down the hill. Awfully close between these two drivers. This is almost too much fun to watch, I must say. You know, I will admit it is tough at times to fill a whole stream with constant commentary on the race, but sometimes I just can't help but be engrossed in the racing myself. Just watching and analyzing how the drivers move and how they're weaving in and out and taking each turn. And then my mind will wander. Now I'm thinking about the F1 race this weekend, which I'm so excited to finally be back. And at Spa, nonetheless. If you're a Formula One driver fan, come on, you guys got to be excited for this weekend, right? But yeah, it's just so much fun to watch. Watching these guys makes me want to race so much more, so much more. Um, you know, I've been into sim racing now for almost over a year, and even though I'm relatively new to sim racing, I think my prior knowledge of racing growing up and has really helped me to pick up on racing a lot faster. And I just love watching these guys and trying to learn as much as I can from them, because they're so amazing. We got a driver, Sean Collis, off the track and into the pits. Well, like I said, I do love watching these drivers, trying to pick up on them, trying to learn, because I mean, if I was racing here, and I've said it before that I'm not the fastest racer, I'd probably be around 10th place. I think I remember racing with Fender when I was racing in the ZRL leagues. So, you know, that Fender area, maybe a little bit further back. I know Fender's faster than what his position is currently. Maybe like racing with Chris Rise or JJ Burr. You know, Slim Friesen. Um, you know, even though he's he's pretty slow comparative to Portis and the likes, but he's still almost a second faster than me. But you know, watching these guys, watching their braking points, watching their where they turn in, the gearing they're in, just helps so much when it comes to learning, learning the tracks. As we come up to some backs markers, drivers getting off the track. Scapinello just opting to give them the space they need. Wolf, see if he's going to give the space they need. Or maybe he's going to give Portis a hard time. Not going to happen though. Portis gonna get the space. Generous of Wolf to do so. As they finish lap 18 here, going into lap 19. Looking further back, one driver to look out for right now, Friesen, is getting awfully close to Tada. He's gained almost half a second last lap on Tada. Tada running some pretty slow laps. His best lap a 42.2. And his last lap, Tada, was a 42.5, and his last lap was a 43.3. So I think Friesen here running in the 42s pretty consistently. I'm pretty sure we're going to see a pass here soon from Friesen. Don't know when it's going to happen, though. Hopefully he can make the move, maybe going into Crocodile. He's come up the hill towards the spoon. Braking at the hut. Down the hill they go. And if you really look behind, Candido isn't too far. I mean, Burr isn't too far behind these drivers, only about 4 seconds. So getting awfully close between a lot of these drivers. Actually, Burr is almost 10 seconds back. Apologies. Friesen gaining a lot of time on that last corner. Hoping he can make the move here. Down the straight they go. Breaking into the hairpin. Friesen opting for a little narrower line. Think that's better though. As they go up the hill. Friesen's just got to find that opportunity, maybe inside here, but doesn't have the space he needs, isn't close enough to make the move. Getting close, but nothing quite yet between these two drivers. We'll come back and see if anything comes of it. Meanwhile, if we go further back, Rise on Candido. Maybe making a move, but also not going to pan out. A lot of close battles right now. We've got 3 battles right now within a half a second of each other. The 2 drivers. One interesting thing is for a lot of the cars that have just come out, we see a lot of drivers opting for the new versions of cars. But the Audi does not seem to be one of them. I think they maybe scuffed the aggressive setup a little bit on that new Audi. Seems a lot harder to tame now. Seeing a lot of drivers opting to just stick with the old one rather than coming in with the new. Reed now almost 3 seconds back from our leaders. Burr is in the pits currently for what I would imagine is going to be his one and only pit stop of the race. And looks like Burr is he's disconnected from the session, it looks like. Oh no. Bit of an issue almost, I would see, for JJ Burr. And is he coming back? Don't see him just yet. I know during the ZAD Duro at the beginning of July, we had Burr's team, I want to say, disconnect in the middle of the race. Luckily, they did come back. We'll see if he comes back here. Reed now 2 seconds back. Friesen not able to gain any time either. Almost a full second back. Friesen into the pits for his pit stop. And I say that, but these drivers don't have a mandatory pit stop, so looks like a lot of our drivers opting to just take that pit stop, get the fresh tires, possibly get that splash of fuel so that they can go all out all of their laps. And I can imagine too, Friesen might be a little bit frustrated there, watching Tada in front of him, probably keeping him back a little bit. Tada not able to race at the pace that Friesen has been able to show. Rise looking to make a move. A lot better of a run, Rise going on the inside. Ooh, a bit of a late move from Candido there. That isn't, that's not very good. Drivers are only allowed to make one move. Didn't stick to his line there. Rise good to keep out of it though. Almost squeezed Rise off the track. Gonna have to make sure to reiterate our rules to Candido there. Reed able to gain a half a second on our leaders. The battling is allowing him to stick with. We're already over halfway through this race too, might I mention. Like I said, there's been just so many great races, so many great battles between our drivers. Reed is in the pits. The number 60 car of Scapinello and number 8 car of Ricky Scott in the pits. As we watch our drivers here, Reed still has the fastest lap of the race. Zhang and Portis not giving each other any quarter there. Rise opting for a little wider line. Candido covering it off though. Rise might be feeling a little frustrated right now. He knows he's faster. Candido's just holding him up. Rise got the better line down the straight here. Let's see if he can make it work. Candido not sticking to his line again though. Tries to take him out off the side, but that isn't going to work on Rise. Rise holds the line and not going to be able to make it work there. Rise has got to make the move on that inside line there going into that turn. Not going to make it work any other way. Flores is in the pits. As we watch our leaders here. The strategy between our leaders is really what's going to decide the race. Fender passes Story. Scapinello with a stop-go 30-second penalty. Probably speeding in the pits there from his last pit stop. Candido baiting Rise with a little bit of a, am I going to the pits? Am I not? A little early to make that move, Candido. Rise, again, I think needs to make that inside move. not going to be able to get the space he needs if he keeps going on the outside there. Staying close, Rise, trying to make the move. Opting to stay behind Candido now. Maybe he can make a faster run down the hill. Doesn't look like it's going to work, though. A lot of drivers opting to not pit yet. Portis, Zhang, Tutta, and I believe Story have not pitted. Nunez making a move on Camacho. Making it stick. Go back to our leader. And as we move into 30 minutes left in the race, I think this is going to be a good time for a quick break for me. I'm going to try to be back here pretty quick. But this will allow me to just get a quick drink of water and get myself refreshed for the end of this race. So the next lap that these drivers have, Zhang looks up on the inside there. After they cross the finish line on their next lap here, take a quick break. In the meantime, if you are watching, thank you for joining us. If you're new to our community, be sure to give us a like and a follow on Facebook and Twitter. Links are on the homepage of the YouTube channel. And if you're interested in joining a sim racing community, whether you're new, relatively new to the Sim Racing League, or whether you're a veteran, come and join us at ZRL. Join our Discord. Link is also on the homepage of YouTube. We're halfway done with this season of Zealous Racing League, or of the ZADs Galaxy Tour, I should say. But we will be starting another season pretty shortly after. So be sure to give us a like and join that Discord if you're looking to find the latest information on our upcoming leagues. And now, since they've passed that start-finish line, it is time for a quick break. I will be back shortly. Enjoy the battle between our two leaders here. And be sure to drop a comment in the chat. Let me know you guys are watching. Let me know you guys are viewing. And show your support for your favorite driver. I'll be right back. Talk to you guys in just a bit. Boy, oh boy, did I need that short little 5-minute break or so. Not even 5 minutes, boy. I feel rejuvenated and refreshed with a quick drink of water. I'm back at it. Interestingly enough, these drivers have yet to pit, which is interesting. Chris Rise looks like he's pitted. And given that our pit stops are probably going to be coming up here shortly, let's give a bit of love to all the other racers that we have on the track tonight. One racer who's been fairly quiet but's been up there in our podium position, our final podium position, is Tada. Actually, now that I say that, Reed has been the one that's usually been there, but Tada's been our 4th place contender for most of the race. And he's still doing pretty well there. Tada, usually not one of our winners of the race, but very solid podium performer. Always consistent, which is what we like to see. Candido currently running 4th in that Bentley. Looks to be a little unruly as he goes up the hill. Matt Fender is right behind him. In the Audi, making quite a comeback after, I think, an early race incident. Jeremy Story looks to have some damage on that McLaren, but isn't deterring him with Reed right behind him. Reed hoping to make that position back. Excellent racing from Reed today. Normally been in our last podium position, but took a pit stop. So he's a little bit further back on the track, but that is no worry. Makes the move on Story, a crocodile there. Promoting him up into 6th place. Friesen having a pretty good race today, which is what we like to see. Running currently P8, but he has taken a pit stop, so hopefully when some of these front runners decide that it's time for them to make a pit stop, like Story, who's now in the pits, hopefully Friesen will get promoted back up into a top 5 position. Story, like I said, is in the pits for a quick stop, splash and dash. Chris Rise doing very well this race as well. Andre Alfonso in the Porsche. Our highest Porsche today. Highest standing Porsche today. Driver that I was sleeping on a little bit. Wasn't sure if he was feeling himself is Nunez. Usually one of our drivers in the front. Seems to have been making back some of those positions though, now in P11. At least started at the back of the pack, maybe didn't qualify. Anthony Camacho. Currently our best rated BMW after Burr up and left. We've got Wolf. In the McLaren, running P13. Christopher Flores, P14. Todd Cromer, P15. Ricky Scott, P17. Kevin Yu, Ricky Scott P16, sorry. Kevin Yu, P17. Pinio, P18. Scapinello, P19. And Santello, P20. Looks like we lost Collis Burr and maybe one other driver as well. So we go back to our leaders here. Watch them duke it out for the lead as they come up behind Nunez here. Wonder if they're going to be opting to make a pit stop here shortly. I wonder if they have enough fuel to last the whole race. Shout out to my wife. Just brought me some apples and peanut butter. And yes, those apples are pre-sliced and cut up for me because I am a child, but huge shout out to her. I will say too, shout out to her for watching the streams every week as well. And she isn't even a race fan. She just does it to support. Battle between Portis and Zhang as Zhang goes a little bit wide down the S's. Awfully close between these two guys. Two drivers are really giving each other a run for their money. As we look, doesn't appear to be anybody going in the pits just yet, but we almost have just about 20 minutes left in the race. Portis, no pit stop yet. Gonna try and drag Zhang all the way to the finish on one tank of fuel. This battle's been raging the whole race between Portis and Zhang. I don't believe they've even gotten between a second apart from each other. A lot of respect between the two drivers as well. They're racing almost identical pace. Racing almost identical pace. Not getting into any trouble there as well. Which I must say is fairly commendable. Zhang getting a really good run up the hill. As they make the hairpin going down the hill now. Gotta say, Kyalami is a fairly difficult track to pass on in a lot of circumstances, I would say. Even though it's got some really great passing zones or turns that would be really good for passing, I think it's made more difficult just because a lot of times the zones that are really good for passing are after very long straights, which can be difficult if you can't keep with them on the turn before. So especially leading up the hill here into turn, I want to say it's turn 4. So they make that left-hander. If you don't get a good turn 4, making the move on turn 5, which is a fairly popular spot, is going to be much more difficult, almost impossible, if you don't get a good run in turn 4 there. Zhang awfully wide as they go into the S's. 17 minutes, 40 seconds left in the race tonight. Car in the pits, number 6 offender. Promotes Reed up into 5th. 33 laps completed by our leaders. Fender out of the pits now. Friesen P6, Reed P5. Reed still with the fastest lap of this race. Set it early on in the race. Hasn't been able to be met yet. I'm a little bummed we haven't seen any rain yet this season. I know they've bumped down. It's a random chance whether rain's going to show up unless the mercy rule's been hit. But I think the rain was so prevalent in last season It rained the first 2 races of the season. And I think they tried to tone it down a little bit just because that was kind of ridiculous. And maybe they toned it down just a little bit too much. I don't know, maybe that's just the RNG, the random chance in it, but I know I'm a sucker for some rain racing. It really throws everything up in the air. I know for me, I always perform much better in the rain just because um, everyone else didn't seem to know how to handle the rain, but for me it was just a matter of feeling it. And I think that's maybe where my shortcomings come in dry weather racing, is because I'm not as precise. But in rain, you don't really have to be precise. You just have to know how to stay on the track. And I can do that okay. And I think for a lot of rain racers, that's the general consensus, is that it's a lot more feeling the circuit, feeling the conditions of the track than it is actually, knowing all your braking points and everything like that. Because a lot of times you can't even see them. Can't even see the braking points. So it's just a matter of trying to feel the circuit out the best that you can. Nunez opts to let the leaders pass as he goes to the side. It does appear that Zhang is not able to keep up this lap, if only slightly. Looking at, ooh, very difficult for Zhang there. Oh no! Scott on the inside is holding up Zhang, our second place driver. That's going to give Portis a really nice little gap there, as now there's a car between Zhang and Portis. A little bit of a tactical move there. As for blue flags, we don't have any necessities between our drivers to allow them by. Although most of the time they'll be courteous enough to let them go. Now Story's going to give Zhang a run for his money and hold him up. Zhang will take the inside line though, and I think he's going to make it on Story. But that does allow Portis to get quite a bit of a lead here. A good gap between him and Zhang. Almost a second now. This is probably the furthest they've been apart the whole race. With 13 minutes left to go, too, these drivers have yet to make a pit stop. Gonna go the distance. I wonder if these drivers are gonna have enough fuel as well. I know it could be awfully close. Looking to some great performances from Reed, Candido, and Friesen today. I think this might be one of their highest performing races of the season so far. So going to be a huge congrats to them if they can keep it clean till the end of the race. With 12 minutes left, we only have about, let's say we only have about 6 to 7 laps left. Actually, I'm doing my math, I think, terribly wrong there. Maybe it's 7 to 8, but Portis is going to go the distance. even with very used tires as well. Portis setting some great laps there in that NSX. Last lap was a 42.59. That's to Zhang's 42.50. Awfully close still between these two drivers. Looks like Zhang maybe has the pace during the race, but Portis just able to hold him off. Been some truly excellent racing between these drivers today. Keeping it clean, keeping it interesting. Reed is now only 7 seconds from Candido. Reed, too, was running in the podium positions for most of this race. I wonder if Tada is going for a no-stop. Same with Candido. I wonder if they're going for a no-stop race. And if that is the case, I think it's working out well for them. I think it's working out quite well for them. So they make the hairpin now. Last lap, Portis just doing slightly better than Zhang. And by slightly better, I mean these drivers are driving within a tenth of a second in terms of race pace to each other. I mean, the last 2 laps, they've had less than a half of a tenth between the two. Really keeping it quite close, making this incredibly interesting race. And some of these drivers, like I said, have yet to take a pit stop, which is pretty bonkers, in my opinion, to go through a whole 75-minute race with no pit stop. I know it can probably be done, but still, those tires are probably really hurting right now. And same with their fuel reserves. I have to imagine that these drivers have been, they have to have saved something in the tank and on track. Definitely have had to save something. As you look behind, you could see a little battle between Nunez and Afonso there. Seeing if Nunez can make the move as they go into the last turn. Close battle between these two. Story actually too right behind. Nunez opting to take the long way round. Not going to work on that hairpin though. Hoping to get the run down the straight here. This is a good opportunity to pass. Don't think he's going to have the speed to do it though. But sticking with, going on the outside, trying to break a little later, not going to work. Gotta watch out for Story behind though. Nunez definitely getting the better run down the straight here. Very quick straight into the S's. Got to keep it nice and clean. Need to be able to get on the power as early as possible. Nunez off the track a little bit there, a little bit squirrely. It's going to give Story an opportunity to maybe make a move, but Nunez not allowing it to happen. Ooh, awfully close between Story and Nunez, almost contact. Down the mine shaft. Into Crocodile. Who's going to make the move? Nunez tries to go wide, get a little bit better run. Doesn't really work. He's got to go inside on Cheetah, which also is not a good idea. Not going to work there either. Loses a bit of time. Zhang is in the pits. Zhang is in the pits. Gotta make a quick splash and dash pit stop is my guess with 6 minutes. 6.5 minutes left in the race. Gotta make a quick pit stop. Watching Tada as he goes down the hill now. I wonder if he's going to make the pit stop. Portis, has he been fuel saving enough to be able to hold out? I can imagine now that, you know, Zhang's bit the bullet. Portis can just go into fuel saving now, if he's even got enough fuel in the tank to make it work. And Tada not going into the pits. Watching Portis now as they come down through the S's. See if Candido not out going into the pits. But Reed is getting awfully close to Candido. Hoping to make that move. Five minutes, 30 seconds left in this race. Zhang having just pit. Portis is our leader, unopposed for the first time during this race. Completely unopposed there on the track. Can imagine he's going to probably do some short shifting. And he's going into the pits now too. Zhang went for the undercut. Can he do it? Can he do it? Portis has got to make a really quick pit stop here as we watch Zhang. Zhang heading down the mine shaft currently. Does he have the pace in him to make this work? Portis stopping quickly. Zhang through Cheetah. Awfully squirrely there. Portis, he's away. Past the line. Got to get some speed now. Zhang is already on the main straight, and he is going as fast as he can. Trying to get up to Portis here. I don't think he's got the pace, though. I think Portis got in just a little bit faster. Had a better in-lap. And Portis is clear from Zhang there. Awfully dangerous move there between the two drivers. Doing that splash and dash. Portis definitely getting in and out of there very quickly. Puts him in a whole 10 seconds back now, it looks like, from Portis. So that is a great move of strategy from Portis there. Definitely these drivers are going to be needing to make that quick splash of a pit stop here as Tada comes around. Candido, he's now on that first hairpin as well, with Reed really close behind. But given the race so far, I'm thinking Candido's going to have to make that pit stop. Unless he thinks he can coast it till the end. It's going to be awfully close, though. You know, I got to say, if I was one of the drivers here, I almost think I would have tried to go for the no fuel, or for the no stop this race. Maybe try to save early on into the race. Save enough fuel to be able to go deep into the race. Three minutes left in this 75-minute race that we've had tonight. Zhang is 4 seconds back from Portis. Tada wondering if he's going to try and make a stop. Candido's feeling the pressure now from Reed. Reed only 4/10 back. And not opting to make the pit stop. Candido awfully close here. This is for position on track, but Candido hasn't made a pit stop. He indeed is trying to save fuel. Tries to break the toe. Reed sticking with. Reed has a lot more fuel in his tank. Going on the outside. Not going to work, though, on this turn. Candido goes wide. That's going to give Reed the inside line. They have a little bit of contact there. Puts Reed wide. Close racing between these two drivers. I think Reed's going to have a better run here, though. Definitely has more speed. Tada now. Let's see what he's going to be doing. With 1 minute 30 seconds left in this race, Portis making the turn around Crocodile into Cheetah. And then the last turn of the track. This will be his last lap. Laps run about 1 minute 40 some seconds. And there's only 1 minute left in this race. Portis crossing the line. Last lap, all he has to do is keep it clean. He is 4 seconds up on Zhang behind him. Watching Tada behind, seeing if he's going to make a pit stop. And he is opting not to. No fuel for Tada this race. Same with Candido. Seeing if he's going to try to make the pit. And he as well is going to go the distance. He is awfully slow these laps, though. Definitely not as much power in that car. Last lap was a 45. Watching the close battle between these drivers. Going to have to come back to this at the end. But soon we'll move over into Portis's view as he crosses the finish line. Reed looks up the outside, and he's going to stick it. Not able to make the move. White flag is out. This is the last lap of the race. Portis now into Crocodile. Coming around penultimate corner. And as Portis rounds the final turn of the track. What a phenomenal race from Portis today. The winner at Kyalami round 5 is KP in the Honda NSX. An absolutely amazing performance from him. Had to fend off Zhang the whole race. And was able to do so. Great race between these two. A little flash of the light between them. Excellent work. Tada now rounding the final turn. And he is going to finish P3, the final podium position. Excellent work from Tada. No stops needed to make that one work. And Candido is able to hold off Reed as well for 4th place. That makes Reed our 5th place, rounding up the top 5. Friesen getting a P6, very respectable from him. Fender rounding Cheetah. And now finishing out P7. After a little bit of a shunt early in the race, great performance from Fender to round to get back to a top 10 position. Chris Rye, Story, and Alfonso, as well as Nunez. These guys are all battling it out for the end of the top 10. A train of them now. As Rise is now out of fuel, it looks like. Oh no, Rise is completely out of fuel. He's going to have to make it last. But that's going to hopefully be enough. Come on. Can he make it across the finish line? Chris Rise, no fuel left in the tank. He's got to coast it. He only has a few more meters left. Can he do it? Can he do it? He is so incredibly close. He's got the position locked down, and he will do it. Chris Rise barely able to cross the finish line in P11. He's not going to get P8, but he is able to finish the race. That is absolutely incredible right there. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. What a unique ending to a race. The big crown jewel at Kyalami. A huge congrats to our podium, Kenneth Portis, Shenkai Zhang, and Matthias Tada. I hope I didn't butcher your name. Sorry, Tada. But a lot of different strategies we saw tonight. As you could see, the splash and dash worked really well for our leaders, having going all out the whole entire race. Not to mention Tada with a no stopper, able to hold out until the end of the race. Excellent moves from him there, as well as some respectable performances from drivers who have had some trouble in the past. One of those being Justin Friesen, Slim Friesen in the Ferrari, as well as Candido. I don't know if Candido's got a top 5 performance in our ZRL races, but excellent work from him today to get P4. I think that's definitely his best performance this year. So congratulations to all of our drivers, especially to our podium, Portis, Zhang, and Tada. And thank you all for joining us this week for round 5 of ZAD's Galaxy Tour, Season 8. Next week, our race will be, for round 6, will be at Circuit of the Americas. So that'll round out what Season 8 was supposed to be, which is supposed to be a highlight of the new American track pack. It seems like, that came out ages ago at this point, but Coda is our last track on that list, and it should provide an interesting environment, especially for a driver like Portis in the Honda, notoriously not so good, at, at Coda. So we'll see how he does there. We'll see how Zhang responds to that. I know Zhang has been really well at a lot of those technical courses, so we'll see how he performs. And, we'll see how the rest of the season plays out as we have Coda next week, and then the week after that we have our makeup race in Misano, and that will round out Season 8. I know the standings are awfully close between these drivers. I'll bring that up to date to everyone next week. But again, thank you so much for joining us tonight for our Crown Jewel Round 5 at Kyalami. Thank you for being supporters of ZRL. And if you're interested in joining in on the action and maybe getting involved in a sim racing community, be sure to like and follow our Facebook and Twitter, and also follow us on join our Discord. That's where all the most up-to-date information is. So be sure to join us on there, and subscribe to the YouTube channel to get notifications when the stream's going to be up next week. And also for the Discord, we have the stream links there as well. And we have information on the newest leagues. Season 9 will happen pretty soon after Season 8. So if you want to get involved with that, be sure to be in the Discord for that information. And then also, if you're just interested in motorsport in general, we have tons of threads to talk about any type of motorsport under the sun. IndyCar, NASCAR, Formula One, Formula E, you name it, we got it. So thank you all again. My name is Shim. I've been your commentator for tonight. Thank you for joining us for this race, and I hope you all have a safe and wonderful rest of your week. I'll see you all next week for round 6 at Circuit of the Americas. It's been a great time. Have a great week, and see you all next time.